I'm Maribeth, of course. This is WKARMA Radio, and I'm just going to play for you a couple of things called the British Invasion back in the 60s when we first came along. And when they did come along, it couldn't have been at a better time because in America here, we were really having a rough time. Remember, it was President Kennedy had just been assassinated, Vietnam, which, I mean, I spent my entire life growing up around Vietnam, and protests from people that were older than me, and mostly living in Woodstock. What I wanted to show you, though, is from here. Look at this. I'm kind of looking like I feel like Emma Steele today from The Avengers with... you remember that show? And Diana Rigg, she was, I'm not saying I'm as pretty as her or anything, but that's how I feel with this outfit. I mean, it's like the jacket, I was going to say the jacket here, right? And then, you know, I've got, aside from the jacket, I've got the pants and the black shirt, so I'll take the jacket off to show you that. Once the jacket comes off, we've got... Simbi, you want to give me a hand here, my lovely cat? Say hi, Simbi. This is Simbi, one of our beautiful WKARMA cats, mascots. And see, you see what I mean now? It's everything is a black zipper on the side, and I could just sort of come over here and unzip it and... But anyway, that's what we're doing. So for this weekend, I'm not sure what I'm going to actually play. It might be an 80s weekend. I think the 80s and the 90s were probably... Thanks for knocking my makeup over, Simbi. This is the cat that likes to wear my eyeliner. Here she is walking across my dresser. That's one of my new Pulp Fiction things. There's Simbi again. Say hello, Simbi. Say hello, Simbi. And over here, say the Beatles. And then there's Pink Floyd over there. And as I said, you know, at that time, I just got home, so I haven't really started cleaning yet. And today's laundry day and other things. But that's why when I got dressed this morning, I was like, geez, you know, I feel like I really feel like I'm dressed like Emma Peel, you know? But I really liked that show, The Avengers. It was really a lot of fun. So anyway, I have 9 songs that I am going to share with Facebook and a couple of other things. And if there's anything that I can play for you, let me know, okay? Also, someone in England that's a storyteller asked me to tell some stories, so I will do that. One was The Little Match Girl. I cannot remember the ending. I sort of do, but I don't remember it all. So I thought I'd write my own version and then download it, or better yet, go to the library and read it, because I don't do Kindles. I like to read. I like the smell of books. I like to hold them. I like to look at them, and I can zip through them in no time. I mean, I am a very fast reader, and I comprehend things pretty well. And, you know, I just can't see, I don't understand anybody that didn't like to read. I always did. I always loved reading. I always loved writing. I was on newspaper club, I remember, and just about anything that involved writing or asking people, I just loved it. I was always fascinated with it. I read Rolling Stone when it was that huge newspaper, and incidentally, it was a lot better back then. You know, I would hate to say they sold out, but, you know, in a way they sort of did. I mean, some of their articles now, they would never have written years ago. I remember I read about Karen Silkwood when I was 12. And I read it, I remember reading about David Cassidy from the Partridge Family, because I was just a teeny bopper then myself, what they call tweens now. And I remember thinking, you know, he was saying that it was so much different than who he really was on that, and I thought, well, probably. Because I dated a musician for a while while I was cocktail waitressing through college, and I remember he got set up in bands that were really some he didn't like at all. Like some of them would be he was a very serious musician. This guy, his name was Steve Baker, and the bands they were from Pennsylvania, and this was when I was working. The Playboy Club I worked at Ramada in Virginia, which was also got cute uniform tips and everything, and it was very nice. And it was about the time it was the time that the Redskins won the Super Bowl that year with Theismann, and I knew they were going to lose to if you're not ready for them, they will. They're very intimidating. At least they used to be. And I remember Jim Plunkett had beat Joe Theismann out for the what was it? The Heisman. And this is my favorite picture of Marilyn Monroe. See, because there's less makeup on her, and there's that. So we are going to go with the British invasion, and then, as I said, I will see you this weekend. This is WKARMA. It's available by prescription. By prescription, yes. By subscription. I was thinking about a prescription I was supposed to get for my sinuses because they've been killing me. That is why I have not been, excuse me, not been able to do as much as I'd like to do or talk to as many people as I'd like to. I'm sorry. But that's, I'm saying age of a pretty girl. Isn't she adorable? She is just the cutest thing. I just love this girl. And don't forget to, okay, absolutely. And I will see you this weekend, okay? I'm going to really start, as I said too, as the weather gets better, we have better equipment and all, we're going to start coming out to see all of you and talk about all kinds of things. And I want to say hi to my friends. There's a lot of them, Mary and Dinah, and I feel like I should get the magic mirror here. Do you remember that in Romper Room? They never said my name. Maribeth, are you kidding? Never said my name ever. It was always, I see Susie, I see Debbie, I see that, and I was like, well, I guess she doesn't see me. And which was odd because as far as I was told, people were always saying I always stood out, which is something I did not like when I was a kid because I was different. Now I love it, and I tell people all the time, don't despair about it. If you are celebrated, you'll love it. Anybody could be the same. Being different is pretty good in the end. And as for another story I was thinking is, I always wrote stories for my kids, my daughter, my two sons, and my cat Juno, who has to go to the vet tomorrow. Something's wrong with his tail. I don't know what it is. But so far they gave him a shot. He's still, doesn't seem to quite be himself, but he's still the sweetest cat in the world. And I always tell his story that he's got a little heart-shaped nose, and I always say it's because that he had such a big heart, they didn't have enough room for it. They had to put some of it on his face, and that's his story. So I'll be writing some and sending them off to England, and hopefully they'll be a lot better than those two. But I was surprised at how many people didn't know the story of the Little Match Girl. I remember it. My mother used to read me all the Grimm fairy tales, and there were no stories that used to scare me, really. But the music to Peter and the Wolf scared the living shit out of me. I don't know why. It was just that I don't know. I guess because I always had that imagination, and the music was like, I could imagine that wolf coming and the music. It was just, those are the kind of things that used to give me inspiration. And as people say, well, writer's block, don't you get it? Well, I guess everyone does. I don't get it a lot, though, because when I sit down to write, I usually can think of a million things. I mean, just look outside or just look around you or think of something that you really like. Is it hard? Well, I don't know. Sometimes I say what Dorothy Parker says. I hate to write, but I love to have written. I feel the same way about housework. But never this. I always love doing this, and I always will, and I hope I always get to do it in some way, shape, or form, and I hope you will always join me. So, good morning from WKARMA Radio. Hope to see you this weekend, and we're going to kick off your hump day with a little bit of British music and from the British invasion. And I will see you this weekend. And probably like us on Facebook, on WKARMA Radio, Friends Who Like WKARMA Radio, and you can subscribe here and see my videos as well as all the great music I've downloaded, and there are thousands of any category and anything you want to hear. Let me know. T-shirts are coming soon. I'm in the process of designing them, and we've got a lot of other things coming up, so I do hope you will stay around. Thank you again. You're the best. And from the WKARMA mascots, Juno, Simbi, and Socks, and myself. Peace. Bye.